With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade. The deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access for American exports, especially in agriculture, dramatically increasing access for American beef, ethanol, and virtually all of the products produced by our great farmers. And our Secretary, as you know, of Agriculture is here. Brooke, thank you very much
Thank you.
for being here.
It's a good day. Thank you, sir.
You'll let the farmers know. In addition, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against.
Wait. So the UK is gonna accept our food products? Yo, that's interesting because our product, like our food, is like poison. So that's it's interesting that they gonna accept that.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for
It's
being
a
here.
good day. Thank you, sir.
You'll let the farmers know. In addition, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products. But this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both.
To be real, like that's the one thing I was never upset about the UK with, like not accepting our agriculture and our food, because our food is poison. Like, bro, like look at, did you guys like hear any of the stuff that RFK was saying about our food? Like he is the head of the FDA, and he's basically telling you that our food is poison. He's posting on Twitter that our food is poison. Like he's saying that. So yeah, they don't want any of our food. So for them to even accept our food, now the interesting thing is going to be whether or not they accept our food and give our food to their citizens. That's going to be an interesting thing, right? So this is very interesting. What's up, Scott?
Countries, because it'll be really great for the UK also. So they're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed, and we appreciate that. They'll also be fast-tracking American goods through their customs process, so our exports go to a very, very quick form of approval, and there won't be any red tape. Things are going to move very quickly both ways. The final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all.
Yo, Democrats have never done anything like this, ever, that I can think of. This is insane. So everybody was pressing Trump and the Republicans and saying, oh, well, he's doing tariffs and tariffs are bad. They're terrible. We have no food, nothing on our shelves. First of all, I've been to like this store many a times, and I have not seen any empty shelves in the grocery store. So I don't know what these Democrats are putting out there, but yeah, I haven't seen that. Prices of goods went up a little bit, but it's just like, yo, I'm not really mad at that happening because he's going to try to do something major, right? He's a businessman. You got to stand behind a business person, right? And look what he's done so far. Like, there are banks in China that are failing right now. That's huge. And he's not even thinking about like reducing tariffs. I think they got like 145% tariff on China. He's not even thinking about that. People forget China is like, that's an export country. So if things start happening to the exports and, you know, the price of things get higher, like that affects them. He knows that. Like we just had in the news, like one of their banks fell. Like the youth unemployment in China is going up. So like, I mean, the tariffs are like working. I feel like if you listen to the fake news, they're going to tell you it's not working. I think it's working. And then now he's bringing other countries to the table. India, like I didn't know like India wanted to like reduce tariffs and all of that. I didn't know until we went live that day and we kind of, you know, I talked about it. Like I looked it up. We get a lot of products from India, all kind of stuff. I'm not just talking about rugs and all. We get a lot from India. So them reducing their tariffs on the United States is a big deal. He's got like what is it, like 79 other countries wanting to reduce tariffs and go 0 for 0 tariffs. That is amazing. He was able to do that in less than a year. Dude, it hasn't even been 6 months. And this dude has done all of this. Not only is he now, like, UK is starting to accept our agriculture. Like, that's insane. Like, he put people in like these countries in a position they got to accept his terms. This is interesting, bro. This is a very, very interesting.
Very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved. So good for both countries, and we'll also receive new market access for American chemicals, machinery, and many other industrial products that weren't allowed, and they'll end up getting products that they'll be able to price, and if they like them better, and we make great products, they'll be buying those products, but they were not available in the UK. Furthermore, in a historic step, the deal includes plans that will bring the United Kingdom into the economic security alignment with the United States. That's the first of its kind. So we have a big economic security blanket, and that's very important. And we feel very, very comfortable with that because it's been a great ally, truly one of our great allies. I mean, a lot of people say our greatest ally. I don't want to insult people by saying that, but I can say it's certainly one of our greatest.
Another thing he's trying to do, I don't know if y'all seen that, but the White House has proposed if you buy a new vehicle to give you a $15,000 credit, like tax credit for your vehicle, and try to have the interest be tax deductible. This is what they just announced like not too long ago. But you know, I think that's got to be passed by like Congress or something like that. But they just announced it, a proposal. He's doing a lot. Imagine like you are able to deduct taxes, your interest on your car. Like that's insane. Like the thing is, right now the wealthy have tax deductions. You know, and he's saying like, you know, you guys are mad at the wealthy. It's the tax deduction thing. Like, we're going to try to make sure you guys have tax deductions too. I think that's interesting. That's very, very interesting.
And right at the top, and they're the first one we're talking about. And by the way, we have many meetings planned today and tomorrow, and every country wants to be making deals. And we have a meeting, as you know, Scott will be going over to Switzerland on Saturday, and that'll be very, very interesting. Let's find out, but I think they want to make a deal very badly too. Both countries.
Switzerland is like very small. I went over there. I went to Zurich, Switzerland, and Geneva, Switzerland. Switzerland is very small.
Have agreed that the economic security is national security, and we'll be working together as allies to ensure that we have a strong industrial base, appropriate export controls, and protections for key technologies and industries like steel. Steel is a big factor. Both countries will become stronger with steel and things necessary for military. You know, we used to build ships and other things literally at a level that nobody's ever seen, and we haven't. We've eased up, and I would say that the UK certainly eased up, but now we're going to be uneasing both, and we work together. Once again, I want to thank Prime Minister Starmer. He's been terrific for his partnership in this matter, the special relationship and external bond. It's really an external and an internal bond between our two countries will soon be stronger than ever before. And we really do. We have a great relationship. I want to just say that the representatives of UK have been so professional. And
I want to see how CNN and, you know, like the liberals are going to spin this to be negative. Like, how are they going to make this negative?
It's been an honor doing business with all of them, and in particular the Prime Minister. And I'd like to introduce him now to say a few words. Mr. Prime Minister, please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. President, Donald, and this is a really fantastic, historic day in which we can announce this deal between our two great countries, and I think it's a real tribute to the history that we have of working so closely together. Can I pay tribute, Donald, to your negotiating team as well, particularly yes. Howard and Jameson, who've done an incredible job, a very professional job, and my team as well, to negotiate.
Trump put pressure on them people. You think they want to be on the phone like, oh, we thank you, you know, like good negotiating? No, he put pressure on them people. What Trump did was take a stand away from the EU. Like he did, man. Like when this whole Zelensky thing came out, he was talking reckless about Europe. He didn't care. He's like, oh, well, won't they pay? Won't they do that? Like, won't they? He didn't care, bro. And he let it be known, like, yo, we be protecting them. Like, I don't, like, they take advantage of it. Like, bruh, I've never seen a president talk about them like that. And you even had Vance go over there and, like, scold them for, like, you know, punishing their citizens for posting things on social media and stuff like that. So our administration was kind of taking a stand back. I think that freaked them out in Europe. And then the tariffs, they're like, yo, we can't really play with Trump like that. We got to come to the negotiating table, figure out what we're going to do. And then now you have them coming to the UK, coming to the negotiating table. Yo, like, how can y'all be mad at Trump? I don't really get it right now.
Teams have worked at pace now for a number of weeks to bring in this deal today. Really important deal. This is going to boost trade between and across our countries. It's going to not only protect jobs but create jobs. Opening market access, and as you say, Donald, the timing couldn't be more apt because not only was it 80 years.
If y'all can double tap the screen and all of that.
Years ago today.
Double tap the screen, hit the emojis, everything if y'all can.
That victory came for Europe after and at the end of the Second World War. But of course, on that day, the UK and the US stood together as the closest of allies. And Donald, I think even down to the hour, because you may or may not know that it was about this time of day, exactly 80 years ago, that Winston Churchill announced victory in...
Yo, imagine holding this mic for like an hour. Yo, that's insane, bro. Nah, bro. That's crazy.
Europe, and that led to great celebrations across Europe, across America, but particularly in the United Kingdom. Literally people going out into the street, putting bunting up, going up to the palace. And so to be able to announce this great deal on the same day, 80 years forward, almost at the same hour, and as we were 80 years ago, with the UK and the US standing side by side, I think is incredibly important and makes this truly historic. That close relationship has endured over those 80 years. As you know, Donald, when it comes to defence and security and intelligence sharing, of course, there are no two countries that are closer than...
No, he cut that mic.
To new and important territory by adding trade and the economy to the closeness of our relationship. It is built, as you say, on those notions of fairness and reciprocal arrangements. We've always had a fair and balanced arrangement between our countries. This builds on that. Hugely important.
Somebody said the UK just signed a trade deal of $600 billion with India a few days ago. So... that's cool. You know, we did our trade deal. They do one. Oh, well.
Like car manufacturing and for steel and aluminium and so many others. And yes, we can finish hammering out some of the details, but there's a fantastic platform here, including, of course, on the tech side, where I think I'm right in saying we're the only two Western countries with trillion-dollar sectors when it comes to tech. And in the end, it comes down to, as you say, Donald, economic security is national security. On national security, we've been absolutely the closest of allies for so many years, keeping the peace through that close alliance, that friendship. And now we add to that this deal on trade and the economy. And I want to thank you for your leadership on that, Donald, and for the way in which your team have negotiated this. And I'm so pleased that we've got this deal, we've finalised it, and we've built an incredible platform for the future. So thank you so much. Donald, I'm now going to go and do a press conference. I think you have your press in with you, but
Trump,
on the details, I think
sleep, bro. Like what? Yo, Trump be stunting, bro.
if you've got Howard, we can deal with that through one of my team.
That's great. Well, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much. It's an honor. We're going to have a continued, maybe a better relationship than ever before. You know, I don't know if the media knows, but the U.S. and U.K. have been working for years to try and make a deal. And it never quite got there.
Yeah.
It did with this Prime Minister. So I want to just congratulate you.
Well, with this president, this prime minister, we've managed to achieve what many people have tried to achieve for many years.
That's right.
And I'm really pleased, and it feels completely historic.
We tried to achieve for many years. No, y'all was trying to rip the United States off.
And on a special 80-year anniversary as well. So, Donald, thank you
Y'all got a president that wasn't going for it, so now y'all have to negotiate.
so much. It's really good to have got this deal over the line. Tribute to both teams, tribute to our countries, and tribute to your leadership.
Thank you. Well, it really is a great thing. And you go do your press conference, and I'll see you soon. Maybe speak to you later. But thank you very much. An incredible thing. I can't tell you that for so many years, even as I sat, everybody talked and talked and talked about a deal with, it just seemed like a natural deal, but it was not done, but now it was done with us. So I feel very proud to have been a part of it. Keir, thank you very much.
Thanks, Donald, and we'll speak again soon.
Very good. So long. Bye. Why don't I do this? Why don't I have our Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick?
Yo, using landlines is so archaic now. Like, who got a landline? Who got a regular phone in their house?
Give a little description of the deal pretty quick, and then the good side, the very nice side. We'll be speaking about it also, maybe from so you get a pretty equal. I think it's a very. It's just been a deal that was. We thought very complicated. It became very simple. It's opening up the country that we really didn't have the kind of access to that I would have thought. I was surprised. I think it's why the deal never got done before. It was, they've been working on this deal for 25 years. And we got it done, and we got it done. Really, it's going to be great for both countries. So, Howard, if you could go, and then somebody else, you may have, you'll pick whoever you want who'd like to do it. I have a feeling you're going to do it, right? So you guys go ahead, and then we'll take questions right after that. But I think you'll get a pretty good understanding of how big it is. It's a very large deal, very big deal. And Howard, go ahead.
So the UK is the 6th largest economy in the world and the 4th largest that we export to, right? So it's a huge market, a top 10 market. If you remember Liberation Day, they were at 10% because we have balanced trade with the UK. Right? They say they have a surplus, but of course that counts gold bullion, which is, so let's just call it balanced trade. So how do you open up a market in balanced trade? People think it's impossible. They've always thought it was impossible until President Trump came on the scene and changed the way things work. So here's what we've got. We've opened up new market access, ethanol, beef, machinery, all the agricultural products. They've agreed to open their markets, and that will add $5 billion of opportunity to American exporters. So the question is, why would they do that now? Because they've never done it before, and we still have our 10% tariff on, which will produce $6 billion.
Yo, now United States is, like taking a hard stand business-wise. We're not playing with y'all. Y'all gonna come to the table with us, or we gonna raise the tariffs on y'all. Y'all come to the table with us. We still giving you them tariffs, but you're gonna have to open up, allow us to export to y'all. Like, it's interesting because we got the military, but I'm telling you, United States was always powerful. And you got Joe Biden allowed these people to take advantage of us for 4 years. And all these presidents allowed them to take advantage of us. He said no more. This is not happening no more. We're a great country. We got a lot of consumers here. You know, that everybody can, you know, different countries or whatever benefit from us buying. We buy a lot. Like, no, we're going to take a stand. Like, we're going to, you know, it's time to play chess now. And I think it's working, man. I like it.
Revenue for the night.
He's trying to make sure he leaves his kids in a country that's going to be thriving. He's drastically turning things around. I like that.
States. So the idea was, how do they keep their jobs, protect their economy, and do the best for their people while opening the market for us? And the way is they studied it, their team was exceptional, and they tried to figure out.
I said deport Trump back to Europe. Why? So we can just continue to be taken advantage of and you be happy? Why are you so happy with country? Why do y'all like liberals? Like, really? Like, I don't mind if you're a liberal in the chat. I let everybody talk. But what I want somebody to answer this in the chat. I know a lot of y'all got Trump derangement syndrome. Why do y'all like countries taking advantage of us and not doing anything about it? Like, somebody answer that in the chat. Why?
out the markets that they're importing from other people and try to send them.
What do you mean? How? Did you not see how high the tariffs were on our automobiles getting exported into Europe versus what we charge them? Our tariffs on them to bring, like, vehicles here? Like, what? Are them not accepting a lot of our agriculture? Or, like, what are you not, like, seeing? Like, do y'all watch this, or y'all just see Trump and say, we don't like him? Anything he does. So some of y'all don't even be making sense, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Them over to
I see people supporting him too. It's just like the other side is cool. Have your opinion. Don't like him. Don't like what he's doing. If that's what it is, but substantiate why. Comment in the comment section why you don't like, why you think it's okay for countries to take advantage of us for years. Like, why do you think that's okay? Why do you think we should get nothing? Why do you think we should just give everybody our money?
America. So why?
No, I don't want to hear you a weirdo. I don't want. No, that's I don't know if you're talking about me, but I don't want to hear none of that. Those are ad hominem attacks and all of that. Substantiate. This is what Democrats cannot do. Substantiate your reasoning. You can't do it. Y'all just get super emotional. Oh, it's Trump. It's Trump. You can't.
Why were they always favoring others?
He makes way more sense as a president than Joe Biden. Way more sense.
Not us. And what they've done is they've found the ways to do that so that we have new access, right? But the UK workers are protected. And that was the balance. So we did a deal with them in automobiles. And if you're not building here.
Exactly. Lovey Brown, exactly. Give us examples. No examples. And I will read them. No examples. They just have Trump derangement syndrome. Y'all go and y'all watch CNN, MSNBC, fake news all day. CBS, that's what y'all be watching. Subscribe to the channel, bro. Like, they can't substantiate your claim. Even hit me up on Twitter and say, hey, yo, I'm a Democrat, I'm a liberal. I want to get up here and substantiate. I want to get up here and talk about why I think this tariff situation is bad. I will call you. And I got my Twitter open on another page. Y'all can't. Y'all just don't like him because you don't like him. You see how many billions of dollars he's brought into America? He's got like one of the biggest trade deals ever that nobody can do before. He just did. Biden didn't come close to nothing. And your only, yeah, exactly. And your only thing you can say is, oh, don't nobody like him. He's a weirdo. What?
we charge you a 25% tariff. But the president, and by the way, I want to make this clear, while Jameson and I worked hard, this was the president's deal. And people think, oh, that's not the way it works. If you got to sit next to him, I have the best deal maker to my left. And if you don't think that we take advantage of him calling
Somebody said Biden got 2 scoops.
the prime minister and getting that deal done, you don't understand who's the president of the United States. So he's the closer. He gets deals done that we could never get done because...
This is how I know this dude's like just lost. He said, what money did he bring in? Like, what? Like, this is how, bruh. We've been, whenever we go live in politics, bro, I have at least 50,000 views on the video, at least, minimum. Very rarely do I get less than that on a political video. And we've reacted to so many videos of him bringing in money from other countries to invest in the United States. That's like the liberals, you guys don't even have any talking points against that. Because you can't. So what are you even talking about? Like, what do you just watch? Like Bad Girls Club all day or something and then just go on YouTube trolling? Because you obviously don't know what you're talking about.
He understands business, he understands deals, and that's why we're here today. So he agreed they could send 100,000 cars into America and only pay a 10% tariff. And that protects their car industry. And remember, we do 16 million cars a year. So this is only like 0.6%. But for the UK auto people, this is tens of thousands of jobs that the president agreed that he would protect for them. So he made that deal, right? Then steel and aluminum, right? Their steel business has been destroyed like everybody else's.
Yeah, exactly. If he raises them tariffs on the UK, like those companies are going to get affected. They're going to start losing money, millions of dollars. They're going to start losing jobs. He knows what he's doing. He's putting pressure on them.
Been destroyed by people dumping steel into their markets. And British Steel had announced it was closing down. So the British government, as part of this deal.
Exactly, Scott Norris. He said America is back. I give the trolls some energy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I got to do that. I know they don't know what they're doing.
Nationalized British Steel, and they're going to match the kinds of models we do. They'll put tariffs on, they'll put quotas on. They want to do it with America so they can be part of the resurgence of steel and aluminum in America.
And now you see like China's reactionary. So you see how they're trying to do deals with other countries now, and they're just following like his blueprint of what he's doing.
And that saves them, again, thousands and thousands of jobs. So if you go step by step, aero and commercial planes, they sell Rolls.
Don't at me, super chat me, brokey. I don't have to respond to you, super chat me. Y'all liberals want everything for free, super chat.
Rolls-Royce engines to Boeing. We've agreed to let Rolls-Royce engines and those kind of plane parts to come over tariff-free. And what you're going to hear today...
Ooh, that was smart. We've allowed the Rolls-Royce engines and everything to come over tariff-free. So they know what they're doing, bro. They know what they're doing.
Is there's going to be an announcement in the UK that they are buying $10 billion worth of Boeing planes later today, but I'm going to let the name of the airline announce it because that's theirs to do it. Part of the...
So Boeing's about to make some money. Yo. Hey! Who's invested in the Boeing right now? They're about to... Yo. I might have to drop a few thousand in Boeing real quick.
This deal was always to do it together and to do it strong, and you can see the numbers on this board. Everything about this board works exceptionally well for the United States of America. It lays out the plan that you can work with us in autos, you can work with us with aero and commercial, you can work with us in pharmaceuticals if you have a supply chain that is secure and protected in national security. So we feel really good about the deal. You've heard the Prime Minister, he feels really good about the deal, right? And we started at 10% and we ended at 10%. and the market for America is better, and this is a perfect example of why Donald Trump produced Liberation Day. People don't understand he gets things done in a matter of time. This would have taken Jameson and I 3 years, maybe. And instead, we got it done in 45 days, certainly, because we work for Donald Trump. So, Jameson, my partner in all this, maybe Jameson, you'd like to talk a little, and then we'll turn it over to the UK.
Sure, happy to do that. Everyone has great remarks. I just have to echo the President and the Prime Minister when we talk about VE Day. This is something we've been waiting for decades, and there is no more appropriate day to do this. And when we step back and we look back a few weeks from now or months from now or years from now, we're going to look back at this day and better appreciate the significance, I think. And I'll just say as well, in terms of negotiating, I mean, the UK negotiators, you know, we've got one right here, did an incredible job, right? This is why you've been wars, right? When you act like this, and the ambassador, he knows more about trade than a lot of us here, based on his background. And I would say on this deal, Mr. President, what we've shown is that it is time.
But somebody said Trump is sleepy. Look, most of y'all work an 8-hour day and go home and go to sleep. Some people 10-hour days, 12-hour days, go home and go to sleep. Do y'all see how busy this man is? Non-stop speeches, calls, meetings, doing all of this in public. Flying around, got staff everywhere, tweeting, doing all, like, he's got a lot is going on, talking to different world leaders, going over here, doing a Fox News interview, running over here, doing that. Bro, he's got a lot going on, bro. If he feels sleepy right now and you negotiating a major trade deal, if he's sleepy, oh well, he deserves to be tired. Joe Biden was tired waking up. And he got time to golf with Tiger Woods and all, like, bruh, doing all of this, bringing all this industry into, you know what I'm saying? Or American industry, making sure that we can export to other people. Like all of that. Yeah, let him be tired. He got right now to be tired. Hit the like button if Trump's got the right to be tired right now. Every time you see him, it's a 50-minute live, a 2-hour live or something like that. Yeah, Biden couldn't do none of this. If you feel like being tired now, let him be tired.
To change the way we do trade. People said we couldn't do a global tariff. We did a global tariff. They said no one would want to deal with us. People want a deal. They said no one give offers. You saw that stack of offers I showed you yesterday of all those countries. Said we wouldn't get deals, and here we are with a deal with the 6th largest economy. We've agreed to have fair and reciprocal trade, and we've done it in
Eddie Phillips said you're right.
record time.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Ambassador, please. Well, Mr. President, thank you very much indeed in hosting us this morning.
Yeah, and then y'all people that be like, hold on, I just want to give y'all like trolls like a little bit more time. Y'all be saying like people who support our president, you know what I mean, or Donald Trump is in a cult. But y'all wasn't in a cult with Joe Biden, right? So you got a guy that actually is for Americans, right? The American common man, the worker, and our businesses. So you got a man that's doing it all in America. He's trying to close up the borders and make sure people not coming over here. He getting all these illegal people up out of here, people that committing crimes and all that. He getting them up out of here. Joe Biden was just allowing people to just flood into America, giving all of your tax money to all of these different organizations that Doge caught, right? Zelensky is getting like hundreds of billions of dollars and all this, and then Zelensky's even saying like 100 billion or 70 or 100 billion dollars is missing, and all of this stuff going on with your tax money. But y'all was still supporting Biden. How does that make sense? The amount of fentanyl that came into the United States, I'm not saying this. When Kamala Harris was sitting down for that interview on 60 Minutes, they said the amount of fentanyl coming into the United States had quadrupled since the Biden-Harris administration. They said that they covered the border. This is what they said. Y'all was cool with, what are y'all, like little drug dealers or something? Like, what, y'all was cool with that? To be supporting that is to be supporting a cult. Somebody's trying to make sure everybody's kids is safe. Women not being abducted. Because, you know, the Laken Riley situation, all of that. Like, he don't want that happening here no more. Making the Laken Riley law and doing all, like, bruh, trying to give the middle class one of the biggest tax cuts it's ever seen in its history. Actively trying to get it done. Creating new ways of revenue to make sure that gets done. Major trade deals. And you mean to tell me supporting a president that is supporting the United States is a cult? And the person that was selling out America and y'all supporting that person is not a cult? Giving China everything that they want? Y'all was complaining y'all couldn't afford groceries. Y'all couldn't afford to buy a house. Y'all couldn't afford to buy a car. Interest rates was almost up to 8%. Y'all was panicking. Even if you had an 800 credit score, you were paying crazy amounts of money for cars if you needed them. Gas prices was through the roof. Egg prices was through the roof. And y'all was supporting him. Y'all look like y'all was supporting the cult. Now you got somebody turning everything around in less than 6 months. One of the most active presidents you've ever seen in history. Working for you. Egg prices are down. Interest rates are trending down. People are starting to think about buying houses. Now he's passing. If you buy a new car, you get a $15,000 tax credit. He's trying to pass. Now. You can deduct the interest off the car. Now. You know who that was for? The Democrats allowed that to continue to be for? If you're a business owner, you can write off parts of the lease on the car. If it weighs a certain amount and all of that. He's trying to bring that to the common man. You can get a tax break. And you mean to tell me supporting somebody that is supporting a country is a cult? And that man that did nothing for you, supporting him ain't? So I thought.
And thank you very much indeed also for that very typical 11th hour intervention by you with your phone call to the president, demanding even more out of this deal than any of us expected. So thank you for that.
We went up 5,000 views when I did that. Shout out to y'all.
The Prime Minister was delighted, obviously, to take that call late at night. But you took it to another level, and I think the point I would make is twofold. One is,
and then y'all look at the chats. Look at the liberals. Look at the chat. Look at the liberals ad hominem attacks. You can't say anything to substantiate why Biden is better than this guy. He made it so clear. And another thing that's hurting y'all so much down to the core, he won the popular vote. That was a mandate from the United States of America. We need change. No Democrat can give us change. Kamala was more of the same. Y'all know that. Even the Democrats started to change. He won the popular vote. Ain't nothing you can say to this man right now. Facts.
that if we're going to rebalance and rebuild international trade in a way that serves all our interests, then we're better doing that together than separately and
landslide
and apart, and that's what we're on a mission to do. But secondly, you've done what you said you would do. You said to the Prime Minister when he came and we visited.
Shout out, we got 200 subscribers. Appreciate y'all.
Visited in the Oval. that you would do a good trade deal with the United Kingdom, that you would do it at pace, and that we would be first. And you have delivered that. You've been true to your word. So thank you very much indeed for that. For us, it's...
now you got to be subscribed if you want me to pay attention to you.
Not the end, it's it's the end just of the beginning. I mean, there is yet more we can do in reducing tariffs and trade barriers so as to open up.
And almost every video he does is like multiple million views. Like he's working, bruh. What's up, MC15?
Our markets to each other even more than we're agreeing to do today. But it also provides us with the platform, the springboard, to do what I think will be even more valuable for both our countries in the future, and that's
Scott Norris, he said America is back strong. Yes.
Creating a technology partnership between the United States and the United Kingdom so that we can harness science and technology in order to create future industries and future jobs, and to do that together in the way we work so closely already in the national security and defense area. We can just take that to...
Sheba, you must be real broke, because you've been like, I'm ignoring your comments, like super chat. Stop being a brokey, complaining. Super chat. You know how many views I got on this video? You think I'm about to just like give you like all of my attention for free? Super chat.
Yet further areas of science, enterprise...
Well, just keep hating in the comments. Do what you do.
And endeavor. So we're looking forward to doing that in the coming.
Like, and it's national news that egg prices are down, and this person is talking about egg prices is up. Like, what? Like, where have you been the last month? Like, bruh.
Months, you've launched us extremely well today. It just, in my view, as the Prime Minister has said, just shows what two countries who trust each other.
Somebody said, great trade deal. Can't wait to hear the logistics on this deal.
Who are confident
Skylar
in
Blake,
each
shout out to you for subscribing.
other and are familiar with each other can do not just for ourselves, but for the rest of the world who need to benefit from a bigger and better international trading system.
Thank you very much. It was beautifully stated. What a beautiful accent, too. I'd like to have that accent. Thank you.
My mother would be proud.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
James Matthews from Sky News.
Shout out to Marty for subscribing. Shout out to you.
Yes.
Can I ask, why Britain and why now? And you describe this deal as a full and comprehensive deal, and yet we've just heard from Mr. Mantle said it's the end of the beginning.
Hold on, we got a lot of subscribers coming in. Hey, real quick, don't subscribe if you're not gonna watch uploads. You know what I'm saying? I don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to have like a whole lot of numbers of subscribers and stuff like that. But if you just on here and you just be in a shorts feed, don't subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I want people that's gonna, you know, watch uploads too. But if you subscribe and stuff like that, shout out to y'all. You know what I mean?
Clearly, there's much more work still to do. Yeah. With respect, are you overstating the reach and significance of this deal? Because you're a president who needs a result.
Somebody said, Ben Dessel, I guess he's a Democrat. He said empty shells in the chat. And then Think Mega TV responds to that and said, these shelves looking pretty full in Walmart. Every store I went to has full shelves. I haven't seen any empty shelf at all. None.
I think that it's a great deal for both parties. It's for us. We're opened up. I didn't know how closed it was. Quite closed, the market, as you know, the UK. And it opens up a tremendous market for us. And it works out very well. And a lot of assets. You see the chart, and those are tremendous assets. But we've been trying, and when you say why us, meaning your country, we've been trying for years, and they've been trying for years to make a deal, including when I was in the, first term. It would always be people talking, but they weren't getting it done. But for 25 years before that, they were trying always to make a deal, a very significant deal. I actually, until I looked at the numbers, I didn't realize this is a very conclusive deal. But
He does not look tired at all. He was bored earlier, like to be real, but he don't look tired.
we think we can grow it even from that. But this is a maxed out deal, not like you said it. You said it.
You said break this down. So far he's saying that he's gonna, like, they're doing like a deal to where the UK is gonna start accepting our agriculture, our steel, and a lot of other products, basically, is what's going on. So this is gonna allow businesses who are only limited to certain like regions and certain farmers to, like, they're gonna accepting our our farm stuff. So we were really restricted like before, to where we can really just sell to America and like other places, you know what I mean, that weren't really big, like having like huge consumer bases. Well, he just opened it up to where UK now is going to start accepting our agriculture and stuff like that, which I was never really mad at UK for that, because I feel like our food is poison. I think our farms produce poisonous food. That's what it is. So they don't want their citizens getting sick, so they didn't for the longest time accept our food supplies and stuff like that. And so, like, he's making it, like, he put pressure on them, like, and he said he's still going to keep the tariff in place. That's going to bring in revenue and money to the United States. And they've also, with some things, like, I don't know if he's going to get to it now, they've reduced their tariffs on some things, like automobiles, right? Because before, I think, didn't we have like they slapped us with a 25% tariff or something like that on our automobiles being like shipped over there, but now it's down to like I think a 10% tariff. They reduced it, and then other things is going to be like a 0 for 0 tariff, like that they were talking about that they wanted to do. One thing that they talked about here is the guy that's next to Trump saying that they're going to allow some imports to come in from the UK that don't have tariffs on them. Right, one of which is going to be like the Rolls-Royce engines and stuff like that are used for planes, that are going to have 0 tariffs. So that's beneficial for them, Then also Boeing, the aircraft company, like, now they're going to start allowing Boeing products in the UK, like more Boeing products and stuff like that into the UK. So that's going to be big for Boeing. So if you are invested in the Boeing, and you're thinking like, yo, what are they going to do to make the stock price get higher and all of that? It's going to, that's very, very major, that the UK market is opening up to Boeing. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that he's doing, and, he still has some things to announce. UK is going to announce some stuff later. So, because they're going to do their own press conference, their version of this, so, I mean, it's a lot.
Really incorrectly. This is a maxed out deal that we're going to make bigger, and we make it bigger through growth. But we have.
And what Trump is doing on the world stage is major. Start looking at other news besides the United States, right? Because we got Fox News, CNN, stuff like that. Look outside of the United States. Pick a country, look at their news, and you kind of see the scale of what's going on. Everybody's paying attention to Trump, right? Trump, we've got a trade war with China. So we slapped him with 145% tariff, right? He said he's not going to reduce the tariff until until after all of this, and then he and President Xi or whatever talks it down and corrupt right now, right? And just I can show y'all this. Hold on. So like banks are collapsing. So China shadow banks collapse shows wealth. Hold on. Wipeout is deepening. This is on Bloomberg. So when y'all was go to Bloomberg. Storm in here. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Y'all know it's like a big storm going on. All right, I popped it up. So it says China shadow banks collapse shows wealth wipeout is deepening. So they've got, I mean, it's a lot of stuff on, like, their banks are starting to collapse. And then they got like why China banks are vanishing. And then you've got the youth unemployment is like going up. I think it's like upwards of like 24% or something like that is going up. So China is like an export based country, right? to where like they make most of their money like off of the products that they export. When he starts hitting them, what 145% tariff, that matters. That affects things. Before what was going on, because remember we slapped Mexico with a 25% tariff, Canada with a 25% tariff. Before, it was rumored that China, what they were doing to get around like little tariffs, they were shipping up to Canada and then products were coming down here for certain industries and certain companies, so they could avoid some tariffs. The reason why these negotiations and everything with other countries before China did. So that's why you got like 79 plus countries coming to the table fast, and the benefit of the United States, people are trying to reduce their tariffs, do 0 for zero tariff, all of that. And you got China, you know what I'm saying? Like now they're trying to do things and try to, because United States is a big market. We buy a lot, and that can be a huge impact. So they're looking for other ways for them to like recoup and make money. But right now, like, they're hurting, and it's forcing President Xi and them to figure out, how they're going to negotiate. Like one thing, they're going to negotiate and try to get the tariffs reduced. It's going to happen. But nobody wants to look like they're folding to the other. So we're just waiting to see when this is going to happen. Now, in the interim, Trump is doing major steps to bring in, investment into the United States. And he's showing America, there are other players besides China that we need to put emphasis and focus on. And like for me, I never knew India gave us so many different like imports. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know that. I thought it was just like rugs and like little stuff, but they supply us with a lot of stuff. And he's like renegotiating deals with them and like for the benefit of the United States. And so now people are starting to look, and businesses are like, oh, well, we don't just have to get a lot of our products from China. We can actually get them from India. And then now you got like Apple saying that they're looking at not manufacturing the iPhone in China. They may end up manufacturing the iPhone in India. So you got things like that going on. Like they're going to do some investments and stuff like that in America. Apple came to the table with like hundreds of like billions of dollars. I think it was like 500 billion. So they're going to invest in America. 500 million or 500 billion. I think it's billion, 500 billion or something like that. But they're starting to look at manufacturing away from China. When they start doing that, other countries are going to start following, big manufacturers and stuff like that are going to follow suit. But Apple's like worth trillions of dollars. You kind of want to like move how they're moving. And so Trump is on a global scale showing people we do not need China. And China always thought, because they can manipulate their currency. They can do a lot of different things to play dirty when things start getting hectic that we can't really do like that. So a global scale, put pressure on them. We don't need them. And he's actively showing you we don't need them for things. And we can just renegotiate with other allies or different people and get great deals done for the Americas until something can get worked out with China. And I think that was genius, bro.
Tremendous assets involved. I was surprised to see how big your country is in trade, actually. One of the biggest in technology and so many other things. It's agriculture. I really didn't know. It's depending on your definition, it's from 4 to 5 to 6. That's pretty big in the world. So I was very impressed by that. But we're going to take it to new levels.
We got 42,000 views. This ain't the right time to go live, but if y'all can, hit the like button, be appreciated.
Very big deal right now. But I think it is going to grow just of its own volition. It's going to grow. And over time, there'll be changes made. There'll be adjustments made because we're flexible. We'll see things that we can do even better. But it's very conclusive, and we think everyone's going to be happy. And the people of your country are going to be very impressed with the result. And they'll be able to buy from more people. They'll be able to price things differently. They'll be able to get some products that aren't available to them now that we make better than anybody.
Another thing is, like, by him opening up, like, the market to the UK, like, now, like, the people who are exporting to the UK and stuff like that, to these different countries. Now they got a little bit more leverage to work pricing. Like, well, we got other markets and stuff that we're supplying to as well. You know, can you give us a better trade agreement so that we can ship you more product? Like, I mean, this is great overall, bro.
In the world, and it's just something that it's a great thing that it came together. It's so nice because we have
This business is all about negotiations. You know what I mean?
Many countries want to make a deal, and many countries are very unhappy that we happen to choose this one, to be honest with you. But it's a long time, our oldest ally, or just about. I guess a couple of people claim that too, but let's put it right at the top. I think it's going to be something very special for UK and special for the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reagan Reese, the Daily Caller. How close are you to more deals, and when do you expect the next to be announced?
Well, very close. We have numerous deals. I know Howard's going back. As soon as this is finished, your press conference, he's got numerous. And Scott, who's right over here, who's fantastic, by the way. You were great on television this morning. I watched you. That was very good. He gave them a little lesson in the world and economics. But Scott's going to be going to Switzerland, meeting with China. And, you know, they very much want to make a deal. We can all play games. Who made the first call? Who didn't make the... It doesn't
See what
matter.
I'm saying? You see what he's saying?
It only
We
matters.
can all play games, like who made the first call, who did this. They want to make a deal. You know?
What happens in that room. But I will tell you that China very much wants to make a deal. We'll see how that works out. Every country throughout the last 40, 50 years has literally ripped off the United States on trade, on military, on protection, on all the different things. And we are now making fair deals. And in this case, it's great because we really weren't very much involved. You have the European Union, which is I think you made the right decision years ago. I don't know if you remember, I was opening up Turnberry the day that you were voting, and they asked me, would it happen or would it not happen? I said, no, I think they're going to go their own separate way. I think it's better for them. And they did. I think it's going to end up being a very smart decision. But a big part of that decision was always that you'd be able to make a deal with the United States, and they were unable to do that. But now they made it, and it's a tremendous, it's very important. That was always a big part of your decision on Brexit, and they were never able to make that deal. It was a tough one, and this one it's amazing with time. This one just went very smoothly, went quickly and smoothly, and a lot of common sense, as I like to say. There's tremendous common sense, but it's going to make your country much bigger in terms of trade, and it's going to make our country much bigger in terms of trade too. Yes, sir. Go ahead, behind you.
Oh, yeah, Tom
And then we'll get to
the BBC. Thank you, Mr. President. You mentioned beef.
You're with who?
The BBC.
Oh, good. Very nice. They treat me beautifully.
You mentioned beef and beef exports. The UK currently doesn't accept American beef because of its own food standards. Are you calling on the UK to accept all American beef and chicken products?
Well, I think they'll take what they want. We have plenty of it. We have every type. We have every classification you could have. As you know, Bobby Kennedy is doing a tremendous job, and he's, I think, probably heading toward your system with no chemical, no this, no that. I mean, I think we're heading that way. It seems to be. And but we have that also. So we're a very big country. We have a lot of beef. We're a very big country, so it'll be great. Yes. Yes.
You want me to jump?
Yes.
Let's talk about American beef really quickly, and it can't be understated. I'm Brooke Rollins, by the way, how important this deal is and what this means to American farmers and ranchers. Specific to the beef, this is going to exponentially increase our beef exports. And to be very clear, American beef is the safest, the best quality, and the crown jewel of American agriculture for the world. So
I don't know. I don't believe her. I don't believe anything good about our food, bruh. I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's cool she's saying that. I mean, but Robert Kennedy said our food is poison. So I don't believe nothing she's saying about food. I'm very surprised that they're accepting our food. You know, but for them to accept it, maybe there is a little bit of truth to what she's saying. You know, I don't know, but them accepting our food is kind of crazy, though. I ain't gonna even lie.
I think a really important part of this deal isn't just the ethanol reducing of tariffs from 19 to 0, which for our row croppers is a huge deal, but also for beef. And as we move forward, I know our incredible trade team is looking at all of the meats.
But what would that do to beef prices, right? Or prices for like meat and stuff like that? Like, what would that do to it? Like, if they can now like export it and ship, this would help farmers, but does this help us? You know what I mean? Or will people be like, okay, well, now since we got to export it to everywhere, the price is going up. Like, they can do anything with the market, like these farmers now. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how this plays, because it's only so many cows and stuff. You know what I mean? So what are they gonna do? Supply and demand. Now we got to raise the price of. You know what I mean? I'm interested to see how this is gonna play out.
All of the produce, really all of our agriculture exports. And I don't know if there's an industry that has been treated more unfairly and has suffered more than our agriculture industry. So we look forward to, I'll be in the UK on Monday, talking to my counterpart over there for next week, and look forward to moving that out across the country. The president is
I think we can say that we have the best in the world, best tractors, the best.
John said we do okay on single ingredient foods. It's the processed foods. Okay. 'Cause when I went to Europe, man, people look healthy over there. I ain't gonna even lie, bro. Have y'all been to Europe? I went to Switzerland, Zurich, Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland, Genoa, Italy. I went to Lake Como, Italy. I went to Milan, Italy. I went through France. People look very healthy over there. Like, they're not like, people are like way smaller. Like, they just like their skin. They don't look like they got all these hormones in them like America. People like, look at me. I'm like, you know what I mean? They don't look like, I don't even eat that much. So it's like, I'm big though. I'm like 6'2", you know what I mean? But like, they don't look like us at all. Like, their food is like mad different. When I went over there, because I was in Europe, I was eating everything I could see, the pizzas, everything, bro. And I lost weight. They don't have all like preservatives and all this crap like that in their food like we got here. So I'm interested to see what, like, is the meat really good? I don't know. Pause. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is the, like, our, like, produce, our, you know what I mean? Cows and stuff like that, the meat, whatever. Is it actually decent or is it like bad? I don't know. But I don't know, man. I'm very surprised that they're taking our food, bro.
Everything in the world, and they say that our agriculture is, second to none. You understand, and it'll be a great asset. People are going to be able to have options, choice, and they'll have more of it. And that usually means lower prices. How about we'll do you and then you? Go ahead.
Question.
Yeah, I had to pause that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all, if y'all can, like, double tap the screen. I haven't seen nobody doing that. I can see on this end I'm running OBS. Double tap the screen if y'all can, because they're trying to slow the video down. It's at 48,000 views. We got 300 subscribers today, so 320 subscribers, so I appreciate y'all. But double tap the screen so we can keep this into the algorithm. People need to see what he's doing.
LA7 to 2010 million. So congratulations for the deal. We'll see a big revenues from the chart. But what's the rest of Europe? It's a big trade, but other European countries, it seems like
we intend to make a deal with Europe. We have found that the European Union treated us extremely unfairly, very difficult, and hurt themselves in doing so. And they very much want to make a deal. We'll be dealing with them. We are dealing with them currently. So that'll cover pretty much the rest of it. But this was separate because of Brexit in particular. This was a separate deal. It always seems so natural. I mean, all the media would say that this seemed to be like, why did this happen 25 years? Why didn't it happen a long time ago? And it was always amazing to me. Somebody would say, hey, we got to make a deal. We have to make a deal. But this deal just fell into place. The prime minister did a
I don't know if this is true, right? So I put in, like, which countries have the most consumers? It says number 1 is China. Number 2 is India. Number 3 is the US. Number 4 is Indonesia. So we're like major consumers, bro. So if, like, these other countries that export to us, they got to play by our rules or we can affect a lot of their income. He knows this. businessman. He know what he doing, bro. He knew, like, when he was running, you tell, like, this dude had a plan the whole time. He knew what he was gonna do.
Fantastic job. His representatives are total professionals, and they got along well, and it just seemed to work. And I think one of the reasons it did is because we blew up the whole system. If we would have just been dealing with you separately, or, you know, country by country, we blew up the whole system. It was very fair to the United, very unfair to the United States. Fantastic job. His because of that, this worked out so nicely, and I'm honored that it was the first deal. Please.
Sir, you mentioned...
Well, why don't you go in the back, yes?
Oh, thanks, sir. I'm with the London Times. I'd say this is a great day for James Bond because now Aston Martins will be available to American buyers. Will it be even better by extending it to film? You've talked about a big tariff on films, and we'd like to know if there'd be relief on British...
Well, we're going to have a discussion on that separately. And as you know, we're putting tariffs on that particular film, he said, the movie makers. And we're going to be doing some tariffs to get them because a lot of them have left this country. They all live here. The money comes from here, everything.
Oh, I love that, bro. Yes. People have been wondering, like, Hollywood going to other countries to film. They're coming here. They're making all of their money. They don't want to hire Americans anymore. They're going over there. They got like all these like UK people like acting like Americans and all this, and different countries and all that, and filming in different countries. No, we putting tariffs on y'all. Thug life. Get them, Trump.
Comes from here, but they make them in other countries. So we're going to do something to bring them back, maybe to a large extent. But James Bond has nothing to worry about that, I can tell you. James Bond. And you know, Sean Connery was a friend of mine. Sean Connery was responsible for my getting zoning in Aberdeen. He said, let the bloody bloke build his golf courses. I was like 4 years into the process, and it was impossible in Aberdeen. And I don't know, he just stood up one day and he said that. As soon as he said that, I got the approvals in about 2 minutes. So he was a great guy, Sean Connery, and great character.
Back there in the later in the year? Are you going to Scotland and to...
Yeah, I will be, sure. It's great. We have a lot of investment over there. We have Turnberry, Aberdeen. We have, as you know, in Doonbeg in Ireland, right on the ocean. They're all in the ocean. I only have interest if they're on the ocean. And we have good investments over there. It's been beautiful. Yes?
Mr. President, if the talks go well this weekend between Secretary Best and Ambassador Greer with their Chinese counterparts, not preemptively, but if the talks go well, would you then consider lowering the tariff rate on China?
Well, it could be. I mean, we're going to see. Right now, you can't get any higher. It's at 145, so we know it's coming down. I think we're going to have a very good relationship. You know, I think it's a very friendly meeting. They look forward to doing it in an elegant way. China, as you know, has a tremendous trade surplus with us, and we just can't have that. And but I think it's going to be very good for both countries. I would like to see China opened. You know, one of the big things here is, and nobody would know this, but the UK was largely closed. It was very much closed to trade. And now it's opened, and a lot of the financial reporters are very happy about that because so much. I listened to them. I hope they get countries opened up, and then you compete on a fair basis. But you can't compete when you're not allowed to go there. China would be the number one example of that. You know, it's very closed. We almost had it last time before COVID, and that didn't work out. But we made a great deal with China. They had to buy $50 billion worth of our food products, and it was a great deal, doing very well for our farmers. And then when Biden came in, as usual, nothing happened. You know, he didn't enforce it, and it got less, and ultimately, you know, destroyed a great deal. That was a great deal. But no, I think that we're going to have a good weekend with China. I think they have a lot to gain. I do think they have far more to gain than we do in a sense, but we're going to have I think we're going to have a very, very good weekend.
Will you speak to Xi after the weekend talks?
I might, yeah, sure, depending on what Scott says. We Scott is doing certain countries, and Howard's doing certain countries. I mean, I wish I had like 10 more of each. Then we could do them all at one time. But there will be a time, we'll do a number of them, and then there'll be a time, I think I can say this, Scott and Howard, where we're just going to say, because we understand the countries, we understand what they want, where we're just going to make the deal. In other words, we don't need the country involvement because we've already had it. And we'll say this particular country, which had big surpluses, let's say, we had therefore deficits, that this particular country is going to pay a 25% tariff or a 30% or a 50% or 10% or whatever it may be. This was, I think we should explain it now. One of the things we did here that we'll rarely do is on cars, we took it from 25 to 10 on Rolls-Royce because Rolls-Royce is not going to be built here. I wouldn't even ask them to do that. You know, it's a very special car, and it's a very limited number too. It's not, you know, one of the monster car companies that makes millions of cars. They make a very small number of cars that are super luxury, and that includes Bentley and Jaguar. So we have some very special cars. So in order to help that industry, and that's really, you know, handmade stuff, and they've been doing it for a long time in the same location. And I said, yeah, that would be good. Let's help them out with that one. But that's different than a car company that comes out and makes millions of cars, which they'll be doing in our country. They're going to build, we have many factories, car plants being built or going to be built very soon. I think we can say that we'll be close to $10 trillion of investment. I think we're actually at that number now if you add up some of the ones we haven't heard about yet. I mean, we have some going up right now. They have plants going up, and they haven't even spoken to us. They're doing it because of the tariffs. And tariffs have always been used against us, and I never understood. I used to sit back. As you know, China paid hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs when I was president. But until then, China never paid anything. And, you know, they really did a big number on us from the standpoint of trade. But we are using tariffs now for our benefit. And we have now close to $10 trillion. Think of that, $10 trillion. If you look at the past administration, and we're talking about over, you know, essentially 2 months, because we could say 3, but it took a little while to get the office in perfect shape, right? It took a little while to get things done. But once we started, when you think of that, close to $10 trillion of investment, you've had years where the United States wouldn't do that wouldn't do $1 trillion in a year, wouldn't do anywhere near $1 trillion. We did $10 trillion in 2 months. So it's amazing what's happening. We're getting calls from, and that has to do with chips, has to do with cars. We used to make chips. We had Intel, and we used to make chips. We had a monopoly on chips. Everything was made here, and now, over a period of years, because of presidents that didn't know what they were doing, they allowed that business to be stolen from us. Most of it moved to Taiwan. And you probably were in the same position, right? Because you had a lot of the chip-making capacity, but they moved it in. And if we would have said, that's fine, if you want to move it to Taiwan, that's good, but if you...
Crazy high. Anything that had a chip in it, even microwaves, was like insanely expensive. So... I like that he's gonna, and Biden was giving them like billions of dollars, like, and that didn't even help us, right? So it's like, no, he's seen all of that, was like, no, we need to build chips here. That way we're never at the mercy of other companies if something happens. You know, you got medical equipment and stuff like that that operates off chips. You know what I mean? So it's like, that was a very like interesting situation when we had to wait for Taiwan and all of them to like think about like letting us have like priority with some of the chips. You got to think these small places are distributing all throughout the world. Like, why are we allowing all of that? Obviously, because it's cheaper for things to be manufactured there. But, you know, we need to do something to make sure we are at least making chips here in America, bro.
In one case, 300 billion. In one case, 500 billion, same as Apple. And in another case, 200 billion.
Hey, hey, 10, I see you in here. He said, bro, Mike is cutting out. Let me tell you something. So whenever you see somebody going live like this, right, they're using like probably a couple different programs. They're either using this or they're using like StreamYard or something like that, right? When you're using OBS and that happens, you have to refresh. You know what I'm saying? If you're the viewer, you may have to refresh. When this post is going to be completely fine. But, you know, you just got to refresh it, man. Because it can happen.
and we're going to have a large share, a very, very substantial share of the chip-making market.
Yeah, I think for myself, that's why I think I'm doing decent in life. I've got 3 Teslas. I own a house. I got a little house behind my house. I've got investments. I've got, like 6 months worth of savings if anything ever happens, you know what I mean, where I lose my job and stuff like that. I think for myself, like, pretty well. I don't think I just, go ahead, overly consume with, things, that's going to make me broke. My cars are paid off. Like, it's, I think I'm doing, like, pretty good, man. Like, I think for myself, bro. Channel that's thriving. 100. How many subscribers you got? 126,000. We're about to hit 127,000 subscribers. I think I'm doing good, bruh. I think I'm doing good. You can sit here, you can criticize him all you want. You know what that's doing? Helping me. If you criticize him, because it's a comment in there that puts me in the algorithm. This video has 50,000 views at a time you're not even supposed to be going live. So, I mean, I think pretty good, bro.
Weekend is going to be a friendly visit, but do you expect that it will just
What's going on, Patty?
Be a formality to break the ice, or are they going to
Erica, shout out to you.
Get into substantive negotiations?
I believe so.
And F said inflation is down, gas is down, egg prices are down. They're not going to listen to that. No matter how many times you show them that, they're not going to listen. They have Trump derangement syndrome. It's a real disease. It ain't a real disease, but you know what I mean? It's a disease of the brain. Like, and they've been like indoctrinated to believe a ton of negativity about this guy. They think this guy is more racist than Biden. These TDS people. Like, Biden was a sponsor of the crime bill and said he didn't want his kids going to school in a jungle. And Biden said all of that. You don't vote for me, you ain't black. Biden said all of these crazy things. And they think Trump, the guy that signed the First Step Act to let all them people out of jail, all that, they think he's more racist than Biden. Insane.
So yes, I believe it's substantive. Yes, I think people like to say, yes, we're having a meeting to meet. Well, we're meeting, so what are we going to do? Talk about meeting again? I think it's going to be substantive. I think we can say that, right, Scott? Very substantive.
Little Lady D said Biden wasn't coherent.
Now China wants to do something, and look, they have to at this point. Essentially, they made $1 trillion a year. And now they have absolutely, no business because of the tariffs. They have no business, and they want to have business. And we want them to have business. We want them to do well. We want them to do very well. So I think it's going to be very substantive.
Because business has slowed down, as you mentioned.
In China.
But we're seeing, as a result, the ports here in the U.S., the traffic has really slowed, and now thousands of dock workers and truck drivers are worried about their jobs.
Yeah, no, that means we lose less money. When I see that means we lose less money. Look, China was making over $1 trillion, 1.1 trillion, in my opinion. Different numbers from 500 billion to.
Y'all trying to play me? Y'all do know I'm on OBS, right? I can see if y'all hitting the like button. I can see if you're hitting the emojis and everything. I can see that. Y'all trying to play me. All y'all people in here trying to play me?
Great for friendship. I really expect a lot of people think I'm a militant guy. I'm really not. I think that trade can bring a greater friendship with China, can be something good. But, one of the things that I know Scott's going to be talking about very high on the list is open up and let our businesses go into China, because when you talk about a closed country, that's a really closed country. And I think it would be great if it was opened up. It'd give people a lot of choice and would create a lot of jobs, a lot of everything. So I think it would be a great thing for China. And that's going to be one of the things we'll be discussing, like we discussed with UK. Yeah, please.
So what does Britain have to do for you to drop the baseline 10% tariff that will maintain?
Well, I think that's set because that has to do with a lot of different things, including past. There are a lot of past things that we talk. This is very inclusive. We included everything, and that's pretty well set. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Mr. President, the 10% baseline tariff remaining in place, is that a template for these future trade deals?
No.
You're going to keep it here?
No.
Is it going to stay in every case?
No, that's a low number. They made a good deal. some will be much higher because they have massive trade surpluses, and in many cases they didn't treat us right. One thing with UK, they had it, somewhat closed, not like a China as an example, but they always treated us with great respect.
So
they treated us with great respect. The template of 10 is probably the lowest end.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Shout out to everybody. It's 5:13. I got to get ready to go to work. I'm a working man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody. We got on this video 65,000 views. We got 382 subscribers. So shout out to everybody that's been subscribing. Also, and this is not to not appreciate the subscribers. Do not subscribe if you don't watch uploads. Don't subscribe. You know what I mean? I don't want to be one of these people that's got a bunch of people that subscribe that don't watch uploads. But if you do, you know what I mean? I appreciate y'all. We will continue, talk about politics a little bit more. It's a lot for me to talk about. I've been kind of away from politics a little bit, you know what I mean? But I got to get back into it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody. Somebody said, what y'all talking about, Hannibal? Something, Michael, you ain't lying. Hold on. Somebody said Obama 2028. You crazy, bro. Somebody said shout out to Piper Boy. Salute. Side note. You said that bad news shirt. Crazy word. Yo, it's in the mail, man. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody. I'm out. Come and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.